Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Unstoppable podcast. I'm your host, Diana Chen, and I'm here today with our guest, Li Jiang. He is the Chief Operating Officer at Harmony, which is a blockchain that's known for scaling Ethereum apps and for their cross-chain asset transfers. And so I am super excited to talk to Li more about Harmony. Their mainnet just turned 2 years old recently, so congratulations to you on that. And with that, welcome, Li. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey everyone, great to be with you guys, and thank you, Diana, for hosting this podcast. It's been amazing also to work with the Unstoppable Domain folks for the past couple of years as well. And yeah, we're really excited. As you mentioned, our mainnet has been launched for over 2 years now. The project has been going for more than 3 years at this point, and we're just getting started. We're very excited about the future of what we're building in terms of being able to bring to the world a multi-chain and a cross-chain world where folks can get the benefit of uh, blockchain technology and building that into their lives for hopefully billions of people in the future.
Yeah, that is super exciting, and congrats to you again on that 2 year milestone. Before we dive into Harmony, which I definitely want to do on this podcast, I want to know a little bit more about your background and how you got into crypto. So take us all the way back to when you first heard about crypto. What was it about crypto or blockchain that intrigued you and that got you on this bandwagon?
Yeah, I think there's a long story. So as I mentioned, I've been in Silicon Valley for the past 9 years now, going on 10 years. And actually, in 2012, my roommate told me about this thing called Bitcoin, and have been following it since then. And actually, around 2013, there were a lot of new startups coming out from that space, and it was really the promise of a new technology that could revolutionize finance, if not a lot of other things in the world. And at that time, like our understanding was mostly around Bitcoin. I mean, even networks like Ethereum didn't exist. And I remember there's an interesting, funny episode where my friend actually invited me to around 2014 to go see Vitalik speak. And of course, at the time, like no one knew who Vitalik Buterin was or what Ethereum was. It was just getting started. And so I've been kind of casually following the space until around, I think, 2016, 2017, and started actually looking more into it because, a lot of my smartest friends were, writing about Ethereum or writing about these different blockchain technologies. And really, it was around 2017 when I first joined a group called it's called TGI, which stands for Thank God It's. So it was a Google tradition where they had TGIF, where they actually, thank God it's Friday, but they held happy hours and meetups on actually a Thursday afternoon. And so it would just be people getting together. And so I met a group of former Googlers, they call them Zooglers, and they were meeting up every Thursday in South Bay in Bay Area to just for many hours talk about ideas, talk about their startups, talk about different technologies, and it's probably from that group that I really into kind of this got into the deeper end of learning about at first machine learning and then learning about blockchain and really getting that network, and that's how I got into it and how I actually got into Harmony.
Gotcha. And so you kind of started learning about crypto from finding a community of people who are already in it and learning from them, right?
Yeah, exactly. I would say at that time, the community was still very small. There were probably, 10, 20, sometimes more people coming to those events. And we were all just learning, reading white papers and reading understanding some of the ideas. And I think you see now, like a few years later, the development of what people call crypto Twitter, right? I think we were not really aware of crypto Twitter back then, and I think it wasn't nearly as big, but it really was the social group, right? You kind of learn based on who's around you and really talking about ideas, challenging those ideas, and absorbing from everyone else, and that I found was really helpful for not just me but everybody in that group who came.
Yeah, for sure. And so, one thing that I like to ask people who have been in the space from basically the beginning, you got in 2012, 2013, is how have you seen the space evolve? Both with, you mentioned with the community, like obviously, more and more people have joined the community, especially with NFTs having blown up earlier this year and that really reaching the mainstream. But how have you seen, both the community and the technology itself, like blockchain technology, evolve since the early days, 2012, 2013, until today, almost a decade later?
Yeah, I would say there are definitely folks who've been in it longer and deeper than I have. But even seeing from kind of an outsider, I was an investor, I was a venture capitalist at the time. And I was looking at it more from kind of an investment. What are the opportunities? In fact, we actually met the Coinbase team at one point in 2014 when they were just starting out, I guess. And I think I think yeah, the evolvement has been really amazing to see, right? So in the early days, you had some folks doing exchanges and trading and using probably Bitcoin as payment or going into emerging economies, like some of the more like clear use cases. And I think in 2017 there was another wave of ICOs and a lot of new projects being launched. Everyone was getting excited with basically decentralizing everything, like decentralize Uber, decentralize Airbnb, decentralize X. And it was really, at the time, the market was much more ahead of the adoption in terms of actual usage. There were only a few hundred, a few thousand, thousands of users. Um, and I think this is the new cycle, right? So we went through the crypto winter in 2018, 2019, some of that time, including, a lot of projects, including ourselves, were just building, but the adoption maybe wasn't there at the time. And now this year, 2021, I would say is by far probably more adoption than all the other years prior to it added up together. And maybe next year it'll be that again, right? It'll be like a doubling again every year or more. And you can certainly see that in all the metrics and all the numbers, and even the new people coming into the space.
Yeah, that would be super cool if that happens. And so, with how far we've come in crypto and blockchain technology, we still have a long ways to go. So, at this point in time in 2021, what do you see as being some of the major challenges or obstacles that stand in the way of mainstream adoption of this technology?
Yeah, I think there are probably two things. Like one is on the product and technology side, just making it easier for new users to come into the space, whether it's making easier guides or explanations, or just making the product flow easier, right? So, how do people come into the space? Are they coming from, are they coming to use like DeFi products? Some of which are probably harder to use than others, right? And some DeFi projects care more about the user experience than others. Are they coming in through NFTs and just buying and collecting? Are they coming in because they want to participate in a decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO? These are some of the gateways in which people come into crypto. And so how friendly those community and those products are is a big factor in letting people come in. So for example, like, my parents are software engineers and they've been investors, but for them it's very hard to even like learn and read and understand and keep up with all these things that are going on and having an easy entryway, right? So I think whichever project and platform that does the best in like making it easy to onboard the average or the new user, those will drive adoption. And I think the other one actually is on the human side, right? Like you see a lot of this is my opinion only, but you see a lot of people on crypto Twitter who have uh, they kind of speak their own language, and it's not that inclusive. Like, different acronyms or people with actually, I use my real face profile picture. I know a lot of people in crypto, they want to use whatever picture. It's free, but it's free for them to choose. But at the same time, like you want a you want a way to be more mainstream, and people want to see that there's a real person behind this project or participating. And so I think both on the product side and on the human side, we could do a much better job as an industry of bringing new people in and being more inclusive and speaking a more inclusive language.
Yeah, that's a really good point that I hadn't really thought about because everybody talks about, we need better UX in the onboarding process onto these dApps, but it's really like better UX on the human side too, and making the community more inclusive. And I hadn't even thought about the fact that being pseudonymous or anonymous in the space could be seen as being unwelcoming or being exclusive, so that's a really good point that you make there. And so one thing that I find interesting about your background is that you actually started off as a VC and then got into a project now as COO of Harmony. And I feel like most people usually go the opposite way, where they start off as an entrepreneur of sorts, or a C-level exec at a company, and then they move into venture capital. So tell me about that journey and like what led you to want to go from being a VC and then shifting into working at an actual project.
Yeah, so my story started out in a very typical way. I actually started in investment banking for the first 2 years and went into VC, which is a very like I guess stereotypical or normal track for a lot of people. And I was learning a lot about Silicon Valley, that I was moving from Chicago to the Bay Area, and it was really exciting. We invested in a lot of really great companies as well. And I think after maybe 5 or 6 years, like I definitely felt there could be other things to do, other new challenges. And I really loved meeting the Harmony team. Started out with meeting our founder, Steven, and then later on the rest of the community, the rest of the team, and decided at the time to just, jump off the cliff, as they say, and join the project after getting to know basically everyone on the team. And so actually, I started out just in a business development role with the team, just doing anything, right? Like kind of going back to the beginning and hustling and being hungry and foolish. And then over time, right, took on some more responsibilities, and at one point it made sense for me to become the CEO of the project and help support and scale the rest of the project. So it was very organic, I would say. Just take it one day at a time, basically, and there wasn't some grand design, but I just kind of felt excited about it and intuitively, follow your intuition, and that's what led me here today. And I think that's one of the most amazing thing about the crypto community is that anybody can come in, I would say, and just kind of get involved, participate, whether it's through a DAO, whether it's through a network, and sooner or later your work should be recognized, and you can do much more in this space.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's one thing that I love about the space too is it's very different from the traditional space where it's all about your resume, where you went to school, like where did you work at a big company, were you on Wall Street before, are you an ex-investment banker sort of thing. Whereas today it's like you can be anybody, you can come from any background as long as you have skills to contribute, just start contributing to a project. And that's, sort of how you find your work and your career. Okay, cool. So that story makes sense. So then you joined the team at Harmony. Tell us a little bit about like the genesis story behind Harmony. So like, why did Steven, the founder, start Harmony? How do you get the idea for it? Like, what problem was he trying to solve there?
Yeah, so I think this is around basically again 2017 time when we as a group started learning more about blockchain technology, and Stephen actually has a background in security protocols, and he started reading all the kind of white paper in the space, analyzing all the protocols, and at the time one of the big topics actually is still it's a constant topic in blockchain, which is how do you build something that is scalable, decentralized, and secure all at the same time, right? And that was called the scalability trilemma. And so he had basically researched into a couple of different approaches that was in research, and the idea for the team was to take the best research at the time and put those into production and actually put it and launch a mainnet with those features, right? And those were sharding and proof of stake. And so those were actually some of the core ideas in Ethereum 2.0, and they're still some of the core ideas of Ethereum 2.0. And so our team actually has a background from some of the biggest infrastructure, products coming from whether it's Google Maps, Amazon Web Services, Google Play, a lot of Apple, a lot of different companies that had built basically global scale infrastructures that already served 1 billion people. So we felt like we had a good team to kind of take that experience and apply it to blockchain, help scale blockchain technology to billions of people. And that was the original vision. It's to bring scalability blockchain to life. And the original vision was open consensus for 10 billion people, meaning hopefully that this technology can really affect everyone in the world and give them a platform to work together, to transact, to create value together.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's a let's break some of that down. So the first thing I want to talk about is like the scalability issue. So obviously like, scalability has always been a challenge to tackle in build in blockchain technology, but I think, at this point we've seen scalability be, even bigger of a challenge with like how high gas fees on Ethereum became earlier this year and trying to, now every project is trying to build an L2 and solve for that. So how has the way that Harmony is approaching scalability as an issue evolved since, you first started back in 2017, 2018 until now?
Yeah, I think some of the core ideas of basically making a protocol that has sharding, that is scalable, based on having more nodes join the network. It can be more or less like infinitely scalable over time. And the core, I think the core ideas have kind of remained the same with sharding and proof of stake. But I think the implementation has uh, been evolving over time, and we've learned a lot, right? So it's really all in the details, to be honest. Like actually launching a network, actually launching mainnet, and seeing what the challenges could be, getting all the validators to join a network, right? So having a network, you need active participation to actually make it run and make it decentralized by getting people to care about it. So I think those are actually some of the problems that we face, and consistently evolving the protocol. So making it even faster from 8-second finality block time to 5 seconds and now 2 seconds. And our goal is to, have blocks finish in 1 second so that, it's really a delightful experience and we can scale to millions of users and millions of transactions a day. Especially now that we're launching with partners like SushiSwap. We haven't really talked about that, but today is the first day of actually the incentive campaign with SushiSwap on Harmony, and so we expect a lot more users to come in, and the network really has to be battle tested and stand the test of time to be able to support that growth. And this is just the beginning, right? Right now we're just talking about decentralized finance. When we get to more of the like traditional finance and onboarding millions of people with billions of dollars of assets, like that'll really test the scalability of the network in production. So I guess the answer to your question is it's constantly being improved, constantly upgradable, and those are the things that we're learning all the time.
Gotcha. And so is Harmony a layer one solution or a layer two solution?
Yeah, so Harmony is a layer one blockchain. We've been that for all of our life, and so our relationship is we are with Ethereum is we're actually fully Ethereum compatible. We're Ethereum virtual machine compatible, and we have a bridge between Ethereum and Harmony. So in some ways, we can as well serve as well as a scaling solution for Ethereum applications. So I guess I can take Sushi as an example. They're launching on multiple chain, but for us, like you can they can scale to new users. And for a lot of people who are coming into crypto today, right? It's difficult to go into Ethereum mainnet right away because you actually need like tens of thousands of dollars of assets when every transaction costs you 20, 30, 50, $100 to do any transaction. very quickly you pretty much lose all your money if you start with not enough. So our goal is, one of our goal is to allow applications to scale to new users who may only have $100 or $1,000 to come into the ecosystem and participate and be part of crypto. So yeah.
Gotcha, very cool. And so your compatibility with Ethereum is that similar to like I think what do they call it? The Rainbow Bridge that Near protocol has? Is it like something similar to that?
So actually, our entire protocol is designed to be Ethereum compatible. So you can deploy apps using Solidity, using a lot of the Ethereum tools that already exist, like Truffle. Users can use it. Users can access applications using MetaMask. So it's very natively compatible. And the bridge is designed to, there's a bridge, and the bridge is designed to be, very easy to use. Anybody, actually, you could use it today. Anyone can do that. And so, I would say we actually learned a lot from the Rainbow Bridge that the Near team did, but it's a little bit different in terms like we want to be fundamentally Ethereum compatible at every layer.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. I will save any other technical questions because I'm probably just gonna keep asking dumb questions since I'm a non-technical person. But I am curious to hear, what are some of the cool projects or dApps that are being built on Harmony right now?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the really amazing projects have grown organically in our network. So we actually have five community decentralized exchanges, and then Sushi came on as the sixth one. Obviously, they're the most well known at this point. Throughout the community, we have a really amazing NFT platform called DaVinci that allows users to mint NFT for very affordable, basically almost no fees, and it's green, right? So a lot of people have been talking about NFT minting as a burden on resources, and so these are just some of the community and organically driven projects. We're also talking to many more projects in the DeFi space, including stablecoins, including liquidity aggregators. So that's one problem that we want to really help solve. And going forward, it's really about the idea of cross-chain liquidity and cross-chain applications, so that we are one of our goals and work in progress is building bridges to all the major blockchain ecosystems. So all the Ethereum compatible ecosystem, Ethereum, we have Binance Smart Chain Bridge. We're building a bridge to Bitcoin that's in progress, Cosmos and Polkadot. So our and then later on, our goal is to help applications and application developers be able to use our bridge ecosystem and an API so that they can aggregate liquidity from all the different ecosystems, so that in the future, right, they will just have to work with an abstraction. They don't have to worry about which blockchain they have to deploy on and deploying on multiple blockchain. They can actually just use another abstraction layer on top of Harmony, for example, and build apps and scale applications much more quickly that way, so they can access all the chains.
Gotcha, gotcha. So for people listening who are maybe working on a project or, thinking about working on a project, is who is Harmony the best fit for? Is it for like a new project that's trying to decide which blockchain to build on, or say a project has already built on a different blockchain and they are looking for solutions for how to link, to like cross-chain interoperability, things like that, they can switch to Harmony, or like who is this product for?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I would say there are definitely multiple profiles of developers who are coming into Harmony. So one example is the new developers, as you mentioned. So we have a lot of organic community projects being launched just because it's relatively easy. People can launch and deploy within, let's say, days or weeks at most. And we're seeing a lot of traction on that end because folks who like developers who have applications that have like complicated contracts or they need to do many actions, they actually love using Harmony because of the low cost, right? Like they can deploy a contract and it doesn't require, a huge amount of money um, to do that. And so that's one. And then on the other end, working with kind of more established players who already have a community, who already have maybe really great traction on another chain, whether it's Ethereum or BSC, and coming in, engaging the Harmony community, which actually just brings new user into the ecosystem, right? So in working with Sushi, actually, they one of the reasons why they're deploying on multiple chains and working with us is they learn that every time they go to a new chain, actually, there's a new cohort of users. It's both, some of it is coming from the existing cohort, but most of it is actually new people who are coming into crypto for the first time because they're part of our community, or they, want to try it on a new platform, or they want to, or we've lowered the barrier to entry actually for those people for the low cost and high speed.
Gotcha, gotcha. That makes sense. Okay, so you've been teasing this sushi partnership for a little bit, so I want to know more about it. What can you tell us about this new sushi partnership that you have?
Yeah, so we've actually announced it a couple weeks ago, and it's been building up to today, which is the start of the liquidity mining campaign. So Sushi has deployed SushiSwap natively on Harmony. It's very easy to use. Basically, you actually go to app.sushi.com the normal way, just switch the network that you're using to from, let's say, Ethereum mainnet to Harmony, and you can swap, you can add liquidity and be a liquidity provider, as most people are familiar with in the crypto space. And you can also earn yield by staking your liquidity provider tokens. And so that's just one piece. We're also adding soon the lending protocol that Sushi has called Kashi onto Harmony as well, so that people can lend or borrow assets again on Harmony. And we're also running a campaign with Onsen, which is their product on Ethereum, and also hopefully we can do other products like Miso, which is a launch pad for new projects from Sushi. So the idea is that we would have we call it a full stack partnership. So all the products that they have would be either launching on Harmony or will participate in some way, and there'll be incentives for many of them. So yeah, that one's really exciting. There will be a couple more coming this month in terms of partnerships. But one last thing I can mention about Sushi is also that it's not just a automated market maker, AMM DEX. It's a full suite of financial products, and that's what we're really excited about, is bringing that DeFi platform to everyone, right? And hopefully offering more options, more products to the world. And so, yeah, that's very exciting.
Super cool. And so just to break it down, from a user perspective, the benefit of, if a user is already, if a listener, say, is already a user on SushiSwap, the benefit of them switching from Ethereum mainnet, for instance, to Harmony, would be what? Just to summarize that up.
Yeah, so basically, you can earn the liquidity mining reward on Harmony. You can trade for much lower costs. Basically, the fee is almost zero today, and you get to enjoy the 2-second finality that's on the Harmony protocol. So I think for existing users, especially maybe users who are new or who may not have a lot of assets, like the cost is a real pain point for some people. And so that's one group. And then, yeah, I mean, I think, for some of the bigger investors, this is a new opportunity to try out Sushi on a faster and lower cost chain. And we definitely expect to bring new people who are, whether they're new to crypto, whether they're new to Sushi, whether they're new to the idea of providing liquidity, making it very easy to kind of educate and onboard those people as well. So I think lots of different benefits from multiple communities will be joining this campaign.
Very cool, very cool. And then you said that there are some other partnerships to come. Are you able to give us a spoiler on any of those?
So I won't say any names, but basically we want to work with some of the project DeFi projects. As I mentioned, we're very interested in stablecoins. We're very interested in liquidity aggregators. We're very, interested in just building out the full ecosystem around it, right? So, of course, DEXs are one of the core like pieces of the ecosystem, but also just bring in a lot more partners and continue to do our work on building bridges to more protocols.
Awesome, awesome. And then another new-ish, I think, thing with Harmony is the One Wallet. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so the One Wallet is a project that some of us and some of the researchers that we've been working with have been developing. So the idea, again, back to the fundamental idea, is how do we bring in the next few million users into crypto in an experience that is very easy and very secure for them. So as we know today, most of well, everyone who comes into crypto needs a wallet, right? And so today the experience is people generally, need to keep their own seed phrase, whether it's 12 words, 24 words, or keep their own private key stored somewhere. There's been a lot of uh, issues with people losing private keys, people losing, access to their wallet, people being hacked, whether it's phishing attacks or various other ways that there's security flaws and problems. And so, we've been working very hard on finding a way to both very easily onboard users without a seed phrase using a one-time password based on currently Google Authenticator, and making it so easy for them to use that this becomes the main gateway for them to enter into crypto with the lowest friction possible and the highest security guarantees built into the wallet without too much extra work, without them having to, keep different pieces of paper in the house or go through all the hoops.
Yeah, so I'm going to check out One Wallet right after this, but just to explain to our listeners, so what does that onboarding process look like for a new user that wants to use One Wallet?
Yeah, so right now we are basically launching the One Wallet in beta. People can go to onewallet.crazy.one to check it out, or harmony.one/one wallet. And so the experience is actually really easy. You can already create a wallet using Google Authenticator or any authenticator app, scan a QR code, and you've created the wallet. There's an option for you to give you a recovery address. So in case you ever lose the wallet, you can always send your funds to the recovery address, which is a very nice thing to have because just in case, right? You like losing wallet access is possible, and so today, that's the main onboarding experience. In the very near future, there will be added features like staking. You can hold your NFTs in this wallet and feel secure about that. It'll be a full functioning wallet with connections to all the DeFi applications on Harmony, but potentially also on other protocols once it's using the Bridge API. So currently it's just a very easy onboarding experience, a very safe wallet that can do token transfers. But soon we'll have all the other features, all the other use cases added to this, so that it becomes the only. So we can say that you only need one wallet, right? You only need this one.
I get it. I get it. Makes sense. That is super cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to all the features being developed out on that because that would be super cool to be able to keep everything, my crypto, my NFTs, everything in one place. And it sounds like the onboarding process is very easy and user friendly too, like what we were talking about earlier with UX being a big issue. It sounds like you guys definitely have been paying attention to that and solving for that. So super cool. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts more broadly in the crypto space or blockchain technology. Like, where do you see this space evolving? Maybe like, let's say in the next year, like what if you had to like make your best educated guess about like what's going to happen in the space in the next year, what would you say are some of the most exciting things that you would expect to see come to fruition in the next year?
Yeah, I think we definitely will see organic growth in basically every category, whether it's more usage of stablecoins, as you see with USDT, USDC. We'll see growth of NFTs, more the maturation of the market. So I'm not even necessarily talking about dollar value or what's the highest sale because those things can move up and down. But I think people will have a better understanding of NFTs, not just like a piece of artwork, but it could be used for any of your intellectual property. So whether it's like content, a medium blog post that you write, or it's work that you perform, whether it's events that you attend to. So we're working with a partner who's making NFTs for events and ticketing. So I think, and then of course DAOs will become much more mature in terms of how to actually organize decentralized autonomous organizations. The tooling around DAOs will become much more sophisticated for managing your treasury, managing your vote, assessing people's work and contribution to them. So I think every part of the infrastructure will kind of be more robust and kind of grow. Um, I think, yeah, I think there's maybe no like if you follow crypto Twitter, all these ideas are not new, right? It's just a matter of distribution now, and getting it into the hands of more and more people. Obviously, we think that interoperability and building bridges is very important. We think building a smooth onboarding experience with the one wallet is very important, and we can definitely see that more institutions or more larger projects and players are coming into the space. Every day we um, get some conversation with maybe institutional investors or big investors who are coming into the space. So crypto is going to become very mainstream in the next year, I would say even. Again, I think like this year has all the adoptions of all the prior years combined, and next year we'll have all the adoptions of all the prior years, including this year combined. And so hopefully that's really the adoption trend. I don't know about the market, reaction will go up and down, of course, um, but yeah, I do see a lot of really amazing adoption, a lot of building, a lot of talented people coming into the space, whether it's through Gitcoin kernel or DeFi Alliance, which are our friends and collaborators. Um, so I'm very excited about all of the above. Yeah, and very it'll be very good to see much more participation and people coming into the space.
Yeah, I'm super excited about all of that as well. And then looking more into the long term, which I know is a hard thing to do in crypto because things are already moving so fast. In your perfect world, where will we be with crypto and blockchain in 10 years?
Yeah, I think in 10 years, a lot can happen, right? So there's a good quote attributed to, I think, Bill Gates that he said, we tend to overestimate what can happen in 2 years, but we underestimate what can happen in 10 years. Because blockchain is growing at a non-linear rate, right? It's sort of exponential. Uh, our brains have a hard time comprehending exponential trends and predicting those. But I do see basically in 10 years, all of the world's financial assets coming on chain, right? Whether it's like we're trading stocks, we're trading real estate tokens, um, rep with a token on chain. All basically like intellectual property in the form of NFTs is on chain at that point. A lot of interaction, basically all of our interaction, legal contract, all of our writing, all of our music, all of our movies will be owned as NFTs on chain. It could be fractionalized as well. And then DAOs could really be a big, I would say game changer for the world. Like it'll allow people to organize maybe maybe we could say like 10% of all world's activities are done by DAOs or something like that in 10 years, right? Or 10% of all companies will be DAOs rather than LLCs or corporations. And then I think all of our identity will have on-chain identity as well, right? So yeah, and of course governments coming in, maybe Bitcoin will be legal tender for 50 countries or something like that. But no, in general, I think I think the entire world will move on chain, just like the entire world moved online um, over the next 10 years. And it'll, because the internet took, 30 or 40 years to really like hit its stride in terms of just everybody using it everywhere, right? Crypto already is building on the foundation of the internet, so it could go faster, it could be spread, it could be distributed. Within 10 years, yeah, we could definitely see it going global and touching a billion lives.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree with that. And I just have to ask because you brought up DAOs a few times and like something I've been thinking about a lot is like how DAOs may replace traditional organizations and especially one thing that I think about a lot is like how DAOs can, potentially replace VCs and, maybe completely change the structure of how projects like seek funding or just how VCs operate. Like, what are your thoughts on where VCs are going to be in 10 years with the advent of DAOs and, DAOs becoming bigger and maybe like it making more sense for companies to, like new companies that are seeking funding to like go to a DAO or even just to like find, some really influential people on crypto Twitter and get funding from them or, social capital maybe being more valuable than actual capital in the traditional sense. So like, what are your thoughts on like how VCs will evolve in maybe the next 10 years?
Yeah, I think what you just said basically is my thesis as well, that new projects can form as DAOs, first of all, and then they can raise money from other DAOs. This already exists, basically in many communities, and getting funded by DAOs is very normal nowadays for those communities. It's just not evenly distributed yet, right? So, um, do I see traditional VCs making that leap? I'm not sure, but I do see like new capital formation, like new funds being formed as DAOs, new projects formed as DAOs, and actually the founder of Synthetics, Kang, wrote a good article just recently about this topic. Is actually guiding people how to form DAOs, how to form a new project as a DAO from the beginning, and how to raise capital and do it that way. So yeah, I think that will be a good way because it's a fundamentally better alternative, in my opinion. Right? You can work with anybody anywhere in the world. You have a better governance. You can raise money from anybody anywhere in the world. Like the best ideas should surface up and be supported and come to life. In the old VC model, I would say that you have to be the. It's not necessarily the best idea. It's probably like the ideas that get the most attention, or you happen to be living in the right place, right time, with access to the right investors. But in this more democratized world, in the future with DAOs, right, the best idea and hopefully the best people will be able to get the resource they need to create those ideas and and allow 7 billion people to participate in innovation rather than a smaller group of people.
Yeah, that is, I think, one of the most impactful changes that DAOs will bring about in this community is like democratizing access. I think that's something I'm most passionate about and leveling out the playing field for people, whether you're talking about like getting access to financial resources or getting access to the internet or getting access to VC funding, anything like that. I think that is going to be really really pivotal, and I'm really excited to see how that changes just like society as a whole.
Yeah, yeah. It will change. It's just a matter of time and speed.
For sure, for sure. All right, well, switching gears a little bit, let's do something a little more fun and lighthearted. I always like to end every podcast episode with a segment called Explain Your Tweet. And this is where
Yeah.
I go through your Twitter and I pull out some cryptic or interesting tweets and I give you a chance to explain them. So the first one that I have, this is from um, July 2nd. So
Okay.
just very recently, you quoted a tweet from Chow Wang. He said,
Yeah.
investing is easy, building is hard. And you just quote tweeted it and said, pin this. So tell me a little bit more about what you're thinking there.
Yeah, so Chow's a friend of Harmony, I would say, and actually got to meet him recently. But I've been following him on crypto Twitter for a long time. Basically, he said, investing is easy and building is hard, and that's really I mean, it's true, right? Building takes a long time, and there are a lot of problem solving you have to do all the time. Whereas investing, you can go in and out of projects very quickly, and uh, there's less of a sense of ownership. I mean, obviously, ironically, you do own the asset or you do own the stock or whatever you own, but um, like building actually is an investment of your time, and that's the most precious thing, right? Because you can't get that time back. Whereas capital, you can invest, and you can get it back if things are doing well, and you can invest in 100 things at the same time. So I think it's a nod to the builders of the world, and at the end of the day, like, what are you investing in? You're actually investing in people who are building something of value to other people, right? So so if there are no builders, there aren't any investors because there's nothing to invest in. So I think yeah, I just love the punchiness of the quote, and of course, he may not be the first person to have said it, but I just liked how it's worded, and I completely agree.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that's a good call out is if there were no builders, there'd be nothing to invest in. So there wouldn't be any investors either. So yeah, really good point. And then I've got one more tweet. This one is from June 26th, 2021. You tweeted, went to a birthday party earlier today and told everyone that their assets will move on chain in the next few years. Even very forward thinking tech entrepreneurs in San Francisco aren't thinking about it. That's how early we still are. And this just reminded me of what we were talking about at the beginning of this conversation with, like one of the major obstacles to adoption being the bad UX and on the human side of things. And, like people on crypto Twitter using what seems like almost a foreign language to people who are outside of the space. And this is a problem that like when I joined the space, I noticed very clearly. I was like, there are very few resources out there for newbies in the space. Like even any articles I'm finding or any people on Twitter I'm finding are speaking in this like almost new language that like I don't understand. There's such a big learning curve. And so and then I found myself, as I learn more about the space, falling into that same trap. And so I guess like for you, I'm just wondering, how do you keep yourself from speaking in that jargon and from diving into this like different world that like the normies don't live in? How do you like communicate with them and in a way that is like very approachable and understandable, and also like in a way that gets them excited to dive in themselves and learn more?
Yeah, so actually, one of the nice things that I would say I have is I have a really good group of just friends and family who are not in crypto, and uh, who I can talk to on a regular basis, and kind of share what I'm learning in a way that's understandable to them. And even it's a good reminder because even like some of my best friends who are very let's say intelligent, or they've achieved a lot, I try to get them to set up MetaMask on Harmony, and it's a like a learning experience for them, right? So I think one of the things is to just keep in mind that just having that group of people around is has been super helpful. That I'm not spending, even though I spend too much time on Twitter, that I'm not spending 100% of my time on crypto Twitter and just kind of in the same bubble. You really have to get out of the bubble and even become a bridge between some of the new people coming in, and a lot of times it's just having conversations, speaking with whether it's a new user, a new investor, a new developer coming into the space, a friend who's just curious, and see if you can help them understand from their perspective, right? Meet them where they are at their level, current understanding. And I think that yeah, crypto has a long ways to go in that sense, like making it very simple and easy to explain what all these things are, and yeah, that's going to be like probably a bigger challenge than even the technology itself.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that's a good point is see if you can explain it to your friends and family and that they're a good, testing point or guinea pig for how well not only you understand it, but that you're able to, bring it down to the level that like everybody understands at. So Very cool. Well, thank you, Lee, so much for taking the time to come on the podcast. I think Harmony is a really cool product, and what you guys are building is super cool. Before you go, just tell people where they can find you if they want to connect with you personally, and then also remind them where they can go to use Harmony's products, or One Wallet, and use it on Sushi and all of those good things.
Yeah, so great to spend time with you, Diana, and thanks for giving me the opportunity. So I'm very easy to find on Twitter, just my name, Li Jiang, and Harmony Protocol is very easy to find on Twitter as well. Also, everyone can go to our homepage, harmony.one, to kind of explore around. And yeah, just follow us on Twitter. We'll be sending out all the updates. Almost on a daily basis about our partnership, about our products, whether it's sushi or the One Wallet, and there'll be much more to come on that side. So excited to engage with your audience, and thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lee. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in, and we'll be back again soon with another episode of the Unstoppable Podcast.